Hello again, everyone. It's me, David, and the reason I'm here. I wanted to do a lead-in to the very long video that I have already made. This is a explanation, something that I have discovered that I didn't know. I just thought I knew. It's something that's written right here in Rabbi Shaul in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And it's about something that we all think we know what it means, but we don't. And I just learned it straight from the master, reviewing it again when I was in the bedroom. And I come out here into my little studio to make this video lead-in and to teach, to disseminate this particular information that was just given to me. This is going to be the first six verses of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 that I'm going to deliver to you. And I want you to notice this is actually backwards of the way it is in the video. In the video, I'm wearing my trusty little hat that I put on, in this manner, and I go along with that most of the time. But I have had this kippah, which I took it off when I took my hat off. But I have had this. It was a gift to me from Rabbi Daniels up in Tennessee. If I can get it on. I certainly don't have to go use a mirror. When I grow up, I want to be able to quit looking and just do it. There we go. I think I got it back on. It's a little off-center, but that's all right. That's not the important part. But in the video, I mentioned that I had intended to wear this because it's written, keep your head covered. And the Jewish people have a device, which is this head covering, and it's called a kippah. And I had intended to wear it for that video, but I had forgotten. And after I started the video, I put my hat on to cover my head. I intended to. Most of the time I have my head covered. I'm not saying that I do it all of the time because I'm obeying Scripture. I'm just simply covering my head. It's what I do. Beyond that, I can't tell you why. It's probably because I cover my head. I don't know. My teeth don't want to stay in either, but that's neither here nor there. But when you see this in the video and I allude to it, now you'll know I got one. Here it is, and I put it on for this because I had intended to wear it the other day. Maybe I'll do it more. Maybe I'll put it back in its protection device and keep it safe. It's a gift. It's a precious gift to me, and I'm very pleased and honored to have received it from Rabbi Daniels. And so let me get on with what I'm here to tell you now, disseminate that information. And as you can see, I have my mask of shame for disobedience on. Yeah, that's it. I violated a trust. I told Elohim a lie. I made a liar of myself. I made a vow, and then I broke it twice. I cut my hair twice. You'd think I'd learn the first time, but I didn't. So here we go. Now, I want to explain this. The first 6 verses here in 2 Thessalonians is what I'm going to talk to. Now, this is an important subject matter, and these first 6 verses will help us understand all prophecy and what's going on. And it comes down to what restrains. What restrains anything that has to do with prophecy. And it's called time. It's time that restrains. And it's Elohim who set time in motion. A time, good old 24/7 time, 365.25 days a year. So that's time. You know, there's space-time. Well, those things that happen in that one dimension, they call it, of space-time. All that happens in space is governed by time. And time is the restrainer set in motion by Elohim so that all things that when, like in the Master in Matthew 24, reveals prophecy, it's according to a time frame. And the restrainer is time, and the restrainer time is under the control of Elohim. By his set-apart spirit, his very life's essence of all that he is, all that is life in us, is a gift of Elohim by his set-apart spirit. Our spirit that gives us life, and our nephesh that cannot die, our soul that cannot die, is controlled by him, his spirit. Here today, gone tomorrow, because Elohim said so. We have an appointed time to be born and to die. Solomon spoke of it in Ecclesiastes. Appointed a time to live and a time to die under heaven. The Birds made a song incorporating those words back in the 60s. I heard them when they first released it. Time, you know. Never mind, I'm that old, yeah. That's why I got gray beard. But getting back to this, let's just read it down here. And Messiah, I ask you to help me explain time. As to the and I'm starting here at verse 1, 2 Thessalonians and chapter 2. And we're going to just do the first 6 verses here. Beginning at verse 1. As to the coming of our Master we ask you, brothers, not to become easily unsettled in mind or troubled, either by spirit or by word or by letter, as if from us, as if the day of Yahuwah has come. Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed, the son of destruction. Those are two distinct time periods, and one has to be before the other. It's a timeline. You know timeline from math in high school. You had some exposure to timelines. If you didn't, ask somebody to show it to you what a timeline is. But when the world began, when Elohim, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. That was timeline 0 point. Nothing negative. Everything that's negative at 0 point is what happened before. Okay? It's not a true negative. It just indicates before the origin, the beginning. Before the beginning. At the beginning is 0. On your timeline you have increments, and you use vertical space bar or vertical bars to indicate a period on a point of intersection on the timeline that indicates when something happens. All prophecy is on this 0 to infinity timeline. 0 to infinity timeline. And everything must line up according to prophecy on that timeline. That timeline and time is the true restrainer. Nothing can happen before its time, and nothing can come in late than its appointed time. All of these were written at a various intersecting point on the timeline. The timeline. Everything that occurred on those pages occurs at a point on a timeline. That is the overall restrainer of all things. If I go to the store later today, which I won't because it's Sabbath, if I were to go to the store tomorrow, that will occur on my life's timeline at that designated time that only Elohim knows what time I'm going to go. I can't go any sooner. If I were to go tomorrow, then I'm appointed to go. And I can't go any later than I'm appointed to go. I can't change it. It's chiseled in stone. He knew the end from the beginning. I hope you can start to see a picture here. He knows the end from the beginning, which means it was already designed. Nothing can change it. It is set in motion and set in place. And everything that is mentioned in prophecy has its time and its place. Time is the restrainer. And the time was orchestrated by none other than Yehovah Elohim and his salvation, Yeshua, who created all things. And the set-apart spirit of Elohim, the Holy Ghost, the Spirit of God, is the main architect, who is the workhorse, who does it all. He is the life's blood of Elohim, the lifeblood of you and me, and the lifeblood of this 2x4 universe created by him on the authority of the Father himself, Yehovah Elohim. So, I'm going to read here for an example, verse 1, as to the coming of our Master, Yahshua Messiah, and our gathering together to him. There is a specific point on the timeline I'm talking about when this will happen. If it's written, it's going to happen because it's based on a timeline created by Elohim. It has to. It cannot be other than that. And the devil can't change it, and neither can the Catholic priests and teachers of delusions and lies change it. They were appointed for their own destruction at certain times and to try to deceive and destroy you. The only thing that remains flexible is if you receive Yeshua or if you do not. You have a choice in that. And you might say, well, in the scriptures it says that some things there are, who were known from the foundations of the earth or the foundations of the world. Yes, but there is also those who can choose freely who were not known from the foundation of the earth. This is mentioned somewhere in one of the Gospels. I've read it before, and as I'm talking now, I remember it because that is the freedom for anyone to come in spite of the timeline. This is not hard and fast, but this is one, if not the only exception, because the only thing that this timeline is for the creation of Elohim to decide whether they want to be with Elohim or they want to pass away and not be with Elohim. And the only thing that determines that for them is what they believe, whom they believe. If they believe religion, they're pretty much cursed. If they choose to come out of religion and believe the written word of Elohim, if they believe the written word of Elohim and trust it and believe in the set-apart spirit to guide them into all truth as they read and hear what they hear on their ear, then they are on the road to salvation, because that is the narrow road, that is the straight gate that leads to life, and cautioned by Yeshua in chapter 7 of Matthew, few there are who find it. Verse 13, that was 14, but verse 13 is the road is wide, and the road is broad, the gate is wide that leads to destruction. And many go in thereat because they're looking to others to save them. The preachers and the teachers, and there is someone out there teaching everyone for something. Even here I sit talking and teaching. I don't know it all, and I tell you all the time in my videos, don't follow me. I'm giving you instructions as what I see, what I understand, what I hear. But I want you, and you need to, for your own sake, learn it for yourself. I'm giving you some pieces to ask the Most High to teach to you, for you to put it together. It is written in the writings of the New Testament, not in the Gospels. Let every man work out his own salvation with fear and trembling. This is a free choice that is not bound by time. Now there are those who are on the timeline that are bound to it. They were known before the foundation of the world. But for the rest of us, that may not be the case. And we have to make the decision, and we have to work it out in fear and in trembling, because to fail to make it into the kingdom of heaven is going to be the greatest disappointment a living being like me or you could ever make, could ever endure, to miss heaven because of our own negligence. I'm going to point these times out to you here. As to the coming, I've read this, and I taught you there, the Master, Yahshua Messiah, and our gathering together to Him. This is a set time. And we ask you, brothers, not to become easily unsettled in mind or troubled, either by spirit or by word or by letter, as if from us, because in that time, which is going negative on the timeline because it's already passed, he's speaking of that moment where this was going on, in that moment, because others prior to when he was talking on that same timeline had been professing that the coming had already occurred when it hasn't. To this day, they like to say that too, but it's not. It has not happened yet. But he's cautioning him either by spirit, a demonic spirit, or by word, someone speaking like me, or by a letter, someone writing a book, someone writing a genuine letter, or someone writing a thesaurus or a theme, you know. Don't believe it as if it were from us or an authority. And they're usually self-appointed authorities. For my videos, I'm a self-appointed authority for my video. Yet, I give all the credit to Elohim. He's the one who teaches through me. He's the one who teaches me. I certainly am not smart enough or gifted to know. So, continuing on with verse 2, as if the day of Yehovah has come. Well, it still hasn't come. The day of Yehovah is the wrath of God. Verse 3, let no one deceive you in any way. This relates to what Yeshua said, to be wise as serpents and gentle as lambs, to be sly as foxes, he says in another place, you know. In other words, be aware of those who would trick you and deceive you. Be on the lookout, constantly guarding yourself against wickedness in high and low places, everywhere. Even from those who are most trusted, who can in a moment be speaking the words of demons for the purpose of hurt and to destroy me or you or all of us or none of us if we don't listen. So let no one deceive you in any way. Verse 3, because the falling away is to come first. That's on the timeline. It's here. And the man of lawlessness is to be revealed. That's here. I'm moving from here to here. Now how it's going to be, whether it's a positive or a negative on the timeline, it's two different. The falling away, the apostasy, the great apostasy, some call it, is to come first. We are already experiencing that. There is an all-out war on Yeshua and the Most High. They don't want him in their lives, the majority of the world. They're shaking their fist at him. And even a greater majority are women. You are shaking your fist at him because you can't be a man. And you can't do the things that men are supposed to do. Because you were given your duties, and a man was given his duties, but you want to do it your way. So you're shaking your fist at God. Stop it. Come out of the wickedness. You're just following the unction of demons. Stop it. Please do so. Let no one deceive you in any way, because the falling away is to come first, and the man of lawlessness is to be revealed. One has to come before the other. That's the timeline. The man of lawlessness is to be revealed, who is the son of destruction, who is also the abomination that makes desolate. He's the image of the first beast of Revelation 13. But he is the revealed, the second, the beast after the beast was killed, the miraculous recovery. And this son of perdition or destruction, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped, has to happen on a timeline at its appointed hour, at its appointed time, going forward in time. Now for me, moving this way where I sit is a positive direction. It may look negative on the video, I don't know. But it's supposed to be a positive that I'm doing. If you see it moving in this direction, that's positive. If it goes this way, it's negative. But this is positive, okay? But the man of lawlessness is to be revealed in his time, who is the son of destruction, the abomination that makes desolate, who opposes and exalts himself for many days on this timeline, above all that is called Elohim, or that is worshipped. And it cannot be changed. We cannot manipulate time. Elohim set it into motion, and it can't be changed. The timeline cannot be manipulated. It cannot be changed. We're all that we are, we can't change it. This is the restrainer. So this abomination that makes desolate sits as Elohim in the dwelling place of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. How does he do this? With signs and wonders, with the false Messiah. So that's how he does this. And I'm talking from the scriptures, verse 5, Rabbi Shaul says, do you not remember, as he's talking to this congregation, that I told you this while I was still with you? He's talking to them by this letter to Thessalonica. And now you know what restrains. Yes, you do, because I gave it to you straight and true. It's called time. And who's in control of time? Elohim. How? By His Spirit. So when you say the Holy Ghost is the restrainer, you're right, but you don't know why you're right. And what I've just given you, was given to me moments ago in the bedroom when I asked about it. Father, something going on here I don't see. I want to know what it is. Please teach me. And He taught me, and I've just given to you that lesson. So, verse 6, and this is where I was supposed to end. And now you know what restrains, for Him to be revealed in His time. And so when you know things in the Bible are supposed to occur before the revealing of the beast, before you see the literal beast power standing in human form before you, before you see this, other things have to happen. When I read Daniel 9, 10, and 11, I don't read 9, I read 10, 11, and 12. When I read these to you, there are certain time markers in there. These things have to come to pass. When I read Matthew 24, there are many time markers, multiple time markers in single verses that have to come to pass before other events happen. But it's Elohim who gives us the discernment for when it's time for this, or when it's time for that in the future, or this has already happened 1,500 years ago, but we didn't realize it until Elohim teaches it to us. Like the prophecy in Daniel, and I forget which it is, I think it's 7, but I could be wrong, where the Catholic, or the Church of Rome, which superseded the Catholic Church, the Church of Rome, changed all of Elohim's laws and times. The appointed times and the services, the feasts, all of this was changed by man. And it was prophesied in Daniel. This has already come to pass. And the date, or the time set, was for a time, times, and half a time. That's an open-ended timeline. That is not an exact time. And it never can be. Yes, with mathematical understanding, 42 months, 1,260 days, this can be 3.5 years. And this is what the Protestant prophecy searchers have determined to be, and I have at times too, determined to be what time, times, and half a time means, but it doesn't. It's open-ended. It has a set beginning, but it's only going to be when it happens on this timeline, and time, times, and half a time, we have no idea because it disappears off toward infinity, and we only know, because see my hand goes off the screen, that's infinity. We will only know when it is over, that it has ended. And the Church of Rome and their dictates are still going on to this day. They have changed effectively under the pain of death, on this timeline, they have changed under the pain of death, and it was authorized, because it was written about in Daniel, prophesied, it was authorized by Elohim, and it's going to last for a time, times, and half a time, till it's over. And we don't know when it's going to be over, but it will be over when it's over. Kind of like something Yogi Berra might say. I think, in fact, he did say that. It's over when it's over or something. Yeah, you know, I love that Yogi. But anyhow, this is what it's all about. Time. Time. And we have an ordered life based on our 7 days in a week and our 365.25, if you will, days in a year. That's how you eliminate a leap year on a spreadsheet, 365.25 days. It helps. So, you know, but that's it. I don't know how to shut up. I always feel like I just got to keep talking, but it's time to shut up. You know what the timeline is. And so what it is, it's the restrainer. This is the actual restrainer. All things have a season and an appointed time.